I'm going. All right, this is the Dark Nightlight. That is capital D. Um,
just as he had told them. And as they were untying the colt, its owners said to them,
Why
are you untying the colt? And they said, the Lord has need of it. And they brought it to Jesus. And
a lot of people don't know Lord means master and commander of all. So if you're the Lord of your deal, it means you're the master, you're the creator of all. It's kind of like what in the Old Testament it said, Lord of Lords, or David said, my Lord said to my Lord. It's kind of like Game of Thrones. I mean, you can rip things out of Game of Thrones when it comes to the gospel. But Lord of my Lord, that's kind of got it. You look at even with like the word, the finger of God, word of God, hand of God. It's kind of like that. If you want to be a king and does heavy set the crown, you have to do the right thing. You don't want to see all those faces. It would deter you. You know the right thing, but you see all these emotions, it will deter you. That's why like it says, the hand says, or no, the king, the hand wipes. It's how it works. Nobody wants to be the king. No. You see this? It's my rugby helmet. I got this from a very bad man. Very ignorant.
Colt. They set Jesus on it. And as he rode along, they spread their cloaks on the road. As he was drawing near, already on the way down the Mount of Olives, the whole multitude of his disciples began to rejoice and praise God with a loud voice for all the mighty works that they had seen, saying,
blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in the highest.
And some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to him, teacher, rebuke your disciples. He answered, I tell you, if these were silent, the very stones would cry out. And when he drew near and saw the city, he wept over it, saying, would that you, even you, had known on this day the things that make for peace. But now they are hidden from your eyes. For the days will come upon you when your enemies will set up a barricade around you and surround you and hem you in on every side and tear you down to the ground, you and your children within you. And they will not leave one stone upon another in you, because you did not know the time of your visitation. And he entered the temple and began to drive out those who sold, saying to them, it is written, my house shall be a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of robbers.
When it talks about the house, you got to kind of look at it too, like the house, the church. You go to church, I'm very sorry for you. The church is you. That's why all your thoughts, that's your church. Try and control your own mind. There's a proverb that says, we put a bridle in the mouths of horses, but how hard it is to control the tongue. Salt water, fresh water. You know, hey, love you, you're my best friend. As soon as you turn me your back, oh, well, this guy did this, he did that. You know, you can't praise, you can't be both black and white, okay? This is not ice cream. There's no. You can't be salt water and spring water. That's kind of what he's saying. You got to choose a side. It's hard to bind them all up. That's why I decided to go on my own, go rogue, if you will. Because I loved everybody. His mother. Yeah, if not, why would I be sitting here strong as I am? I'm going to tell you right now, somebody lives off of friggin' prayer, push-ups, pints, PBR pints, and of course, the bread of life, the Jesus.
And he was teaching daily in the temple.
So fine shape.
The chief priests and the scribes and the principal men of the people were seeking to destroy him, but they did not find anything they could do, for all the people were hanging on his words. Luke 20.
2 chapters ago, 1920.
Yeah! Jesus was teaching the people in the temple and preaching the gospel. The chief priests and the scribes with the elders came up and said to him,
tell us by what authority you do these things, or who it is that gave you this authority.
He answered them, I also will ask you a question. Now tell me, was the baptism of John from heaven or from man? And they discussed it with one another, saying,
if we say from heaven, he will say, why did you not believe him? But if we say from man, all the people will stone us to death, for they are convinced that John was a prophet.
So they answered that they did not know.
Just really quick, the word prophet means you profit from something. John was a prophet. He saw things in his heart, in the spirit world, and then it came true, so he profited. Much like I spoken before, I've had visions. I'm blind. I see things, they come true. Some of them don't come true. I say they usually come true, but not in a very fancy way.
You saw my hand today.
I saw his hand. I saw my buddy Ernie's eyes. I've called out a lot of things, and on my Facebook, which I'm trying to stray away from, I started off early, a little green, so a lot of things didn't come true, but I manned up to them. I had visions with this girl with blue eyes. I was supposed to get back with her. Coma shenanigans. I'll talk about the coma later on the show, and it worked out. But I started seeing the guy that she was with, which is ironically enough. My last name's Cullen, Cullen. His last name is Culling. Kind of crazy, right? Like the Twilight Zone, British, Twilight, vampires. Every time I think about that, I think about Lindsay Lohan or a Bebo. No! Focus! Lost it. Lost where I was going. Twilight and the shenanigans!
And Jesus said to them,
yes. You see things in heaven. Sometimes it doesn't work out, but you got to keep going. So I was like, I saw myself going back with her. So I left everything to be with her. And then I started seeing this other guy with her, and everything in my dreams were nice. They were all being mean to me. So I started praying for her and him, who had the same initials as me, too, most funnily. And then everything started getting gooder. You know what I mean? There's no more nightmares. There's no more shenanigans. I got to hang out with the calendar girl / unicorn. Didn't work out either, but I've heard a myth of a leprechaun. Half leprechaun, half unicorn. Mosier, keep your eye out for this, Mo.
Neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things. And he began to tell the people this parable. A man planted a vineyard and let it out to tenants and went into another country for a long while. When the time came, he sent a servant to the tenants so that they would give him some of the fruit of the vineyard. But the tenants beat him and sent him away empty-handed. And he sent another servant, but they also beat and treated him shamefully and sent him away empty-handed. And he sent yet a third. This one also they wounded and cast out. Then the owner of the vineyard said, "What shall I do? I will send my beloved son. Perhaps they will respect him." But when the tenants saw him, they said to themselves, "This is the heir. Let us kill him so that the inheritance may be ours." And they threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. What then will the owner of the vineyard do to them? He will come and destroy those tenants and give the vineyard to others. When they heard this, they said,
that kind of reminds me when I was prospecting. As soon as all the full patch members leave, you can have your drinks. You can do whatever you want. But Lord help if you don't clean up that house. And that's what you got to look at. It's your house. You want to clean up your house? Well, that's an earthy house. Wash your ass and your fucking feet. You'll wash the inside. I say it all the time, like mental push-ups, prayer push-ups. My faith has made me whole. I've actually made some little child rhymes. I'm going to sing to you right now. I get a little Elvis Costello Presley. I call it My Faith Has Made Me Home. It goes along with that song, was it Santa Claus Has Come to Town? And ready? You want to get in with me? Here we go. I do this one. All right. Jesus has healed me. Jesus has saved me. Jesus has made me whole. He's in my home, in my dome, wherever I may roam. There's more to it, too. I can't remember right now. That's half the jingle. I tried singing this guy from Operation Blessing. I couldn't do it. Jesus has healed me. Jesus has saved me. Jesus has made me whole. He's in my home, in my dome, wherever I may roam. I think then it goes back to the chorus. Jesus has healed us. Jesus has saved us. Jesus has made us whole. It's the name the Lord gave us, in which we trust, the name of Jesus. Then it goes back. Bump, bump, bump. Jesus has healed me. Jesus has saved me. Jesus has made me whole. He's in my home, in my dome. I don't know about the Romans!
Surely not. But he looked around.
By the way, that jingle is an enterprise of Frankenstein and Sunny Days Productions. Don't try and use it for yourself, all right? That's ours!
The Ackerman said, "What then is this that is written? The stone that the builders rejected has become the cornerstone. Everyone who falls on that stone will be broken to pieces. And when it falls on anyone, it will crush him."
A good part too. That rock falls on you, or if you fall on the rock, you'll be broken to pieces. Rock falls on you, you'll be ground to powder. Okay, yes, no, confess, no, no, no. If you're broken to pieces, imagine clay and glass. You can reforge glass, you can remake glass. Powder, you can't do nothing with it. So that's the way you got to look at it. If you fall on the rock, you fall on the Lord, you fall on one of his prophets, you will be broke. You're like, man, I thought I was doing right. Everybody taught me this. I thought I was doing right. I got to redo all my shit. But you don't want that rock to fall on you. You're better off, you're better off that way. This is true. I tell you this. You must believe me this.
The scribes and the chief priests sought to lay hands on him at that very hour, for they perceived that he had told this parable against them, but they feared the people. So they watched him and sent spies who pretended to be sincere, that they might catch him in something he said, so as to deliver him up to the authority and jurisdiction of the governor. So they asked him,
Teacher, we know that you speak and teach rightly and show no partiality, but truly teach the way of God.
The Lord.
Is it lawful for us to give tribute to Caesar or not?
But he perceived their craftiness and said to them,
Show me a denarius. Whose likeness and...
I'm going to hit this really quick. Daenerys, Game of Thrones, Daenerys Targaryen, mother of dragons. Could be, mother of wisdom, 3 dragons, 3 wise men, 3 leaders, Daenerys. In for Daenerys, out for Daenerys, a coin. I'm just going to, it's so easy. It's so easy to see that. Everybody's fighting for power. Then you got this other person, born of a royal family, shunned out, rising up all the slaves and freeing them. In my coma, I was on a slave camp, and I thought it's because I was racist. You can't be racist if you never meet a black person. I remember the first girl I dated after 7th grade. She was black. Probably put it on the first date. I still remember what she looks like. I've never, I made up me. Yeah. Booby doos. Chocolate. I lost what I was thinking about. Got angry about 7th grade.
inscription does it have?
They said,
Caesar's.
He said to them,
Then render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's.
The Lord.
And they were not able in the presence of the people to catch him in what he said, but marveling at his answer, they became silent. There came to him some Sadducees, those who deny that there is a resurrection, and they asked him a question, saying,
Teacher.
Okay, I gotta say this really quick on the resurrection, just because it's funny, it's ironic, and it's Irish, and I love it. Let's get down. Okay, Christmas, the Lord's born, right? Why do we have gingerbread houses on Christmas, right? Think about it. God's born on Christmas, which is bullshit anyways. You think those guys were out in the desert on December? Highly unlikely. It's probably in July. Christmas in July. But for all arguments, gingerbread house? Maybe it was a redhead. I'm just saying that. Easter bread, there's a little ginger in it. You just have to think about it, you see.
Moses wrote for us that if a man's brother dies, having a wife but no children, the man must take the widow and raise up offspring for his brother. Now, there were 7 brothers.
It's a good one, too.
The first took a wife and died without children. And the second and the third took her, and likewise all 7 left no children and died. Afterward, the woman also died. In the resurrection, therefore, whose wife will the woman be? 7 had her as...
Whose wife will the woman be? Well, back then, they were raising kids. A lot of cultures, if you study it, they find sex absolutely obnoxious. They do it to have kids to help them work. Americans, they do it because it's the only way they can feel good. You don't feel good about throwing around cinder blocks. You don't feel good about building a beach. You don't feel good about these things. The only thing you feel good about is possibly getting your little fucking winky-dinky a little warm. So, I mean, when it says the 7 of them, that's why they're raising the kids up. Just so they'd have somebody to help them work. It wasn't all about passion. It wasn't all about lust. Wasn't it high up on the 7 deadly sin things?
wife.
And Jesus said,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, who won the... Yeah, that's one of the 3 things I believe in. Food, fire bush. Ginger. Is that stuff makes you burn afterwards? No, that's no good. This is dirty.
to them,
The sons of this age marry and are given in marriage. But those who are considered worthy to attain to that age and to the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage.
And that's it. Those that are worthy of this age and the age to come. You have to break free of your physical bullshit. You need to peel your skin off. You realize that there's more to that than just the physical stuff. As soon as you peel your skin off, and you don't go skin deep anymore, you'd be surprised how happy you can be. On my Facebook, when I started doing videos, I said, I probably say it again, I've slept with the prom queen, I slept with the girl that drives the mud truck, I slept with the girl that looks like the mud truck. And that's because you got to go with the spirit. You can't just go on looks. It's all going to be shit. And there's a great proverb that says, a man of many companions may find trouble, but a man with a contentious wife will find hell on earth. So this whole, you can only sleep with one person is absolute bullshit. Bullshit. Companion means what? You want to hang out with somebody for 4 or 5 years, have a good time? Whatever. Just be honest. Be honest. If you don't lie and you don't see somebody hurting and don't help them, if you know you can do something, do it. If you're not a fighter, don't fight. If you're not a savage, don't be a savage. Be what you are, and you'll be the best at it. You think I like being me? You think I like sitting here 5 fucking years in the dark like a fucking schlemiel? You think I like leaving the first girl I almost married to go fucking track down somebody else that didn't even want to talk to me? To go through hell? No. I did it for one reason. I should have slit my throat like a last samurai like a Buddhist. But I did it for what? Yeah. Ah!
For they will not die anymore, because they are equal to angels and are sons of God, being sons of the resurrection. But that the dead are raised,
Sons of the dead.
even Moses showed in the passage about the bush.
The bush.
Where he calls
the
the
bush
Lord,
on fire.
the God of Abraham and the God of Isaac and the God of Jacob.
No.
Now he is not God of the dead, but of the living, for all live to him.
Then some of the scribes answered, Teacher, you have spoken well. For they no longer dared to ask him any question. But he said to them,
How can they say that the Christ is David's son? For David himself says in the book of Psalms, The Lord said to my Lord, Sit at my right hand, until I make your enemies your footstool.
The Lord of my Lord, the master of my master. He's the master of heaven. I'm the master of earth. It's kind of like what David's saying. And that's how it works. Believe me this.
David thus calls him Lord. So how is he his son?
And in the hearing of all the people he said to his disciples,
Beware of the scribes, who like to walk around in long robes, and love greetings in the marketplaces, and the best seats in the synagogues, and the places of honor at feasts, who devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayers. They will receive the greater condemnation.
Luke 21. Jesus looked up and saw the rich putting their gifts into the offering box. And he saw a poor widow put in 2 small copper coins.
I'm going to hit this
And
one
he
really
said,
quick too, I think.
Truly, I tell you, this poor widow has put in more than all of them, for they all contributed out of their abundance. But she, out of her poverty, put in all she had to live on.
And while some were speaking of the temple, how it was
I kind of did that myself. We'll throw some photos later. I'll explain that later.
adorned with noble stones and offerings, he said,
As for these things that you see, the days will come when there will not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down.
And they asked him,
Teacher,
When will these things be?
Ready to comment.
And what will be the sign when these things are about to take place?
And he said,
Good time to pause it. It's a good time to pause it. There ain't going to be no Kong this time. Oh! You didn't see it coming. How much longer?